Okay guys, today we are going to talk about box plots. I know that by now you have already done a histogram and you have done mean, median, mode, and range. Mean, median, mode, and range is a lot of what we're going to also be using today. So what you should start with is this little piece of paper. And I would ask that you go ahead and if you have scissors, great. If you don't, then you can just fold this as straight as you possibly can. It might not be straight. And then just take this little piece off the top because you don't need it. So if you have scissors, use those. If you do not, then try folding it and just taking it off if you can. I actually have some scissors, so I'm going to use my scissors. But we're going to take this piece off right off the top like this. And once you do that, it'll be like kind of like a half sheet like this. And then you're going to fold it at your line as straight as you possibly can. It does not have to be perfect. Okay, and if you notice in here we have little lines, so we're going to make those little lines go like this. And you've actually probably already done this in project time, so this should just be a review for you. But if not, no big deal. We'll start from the beginning. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with some vocabulary words that are pretty important. They're going to go on the top of this for you. So let's start with minimum. Well, what is minimum? Hopefully by now y'all know what that means. Minimum is your smallest number, okay? And your minimum is always going to be 0%. Alright, the next one that we have is our lower quartile. Okay, and your lower quartile, and once we start separating everything, you understand that it's the lower end of the box plot. Okay, your lower quartile is the lower end of the box plot, and that's always worth 25%. And then, of course, you have your middle, which by now you should know is the median. And the middle is always Q2, which is your quartile 2, and that's always worth 50%. It's the middle, guys. 50% is always the middle. Okay, and then we have we have a lower quartile, so we're also going to have a upper quartile. Sorry about that. I'm going to add this little piece right here. Understand that's quartile 1, quartile 2, and then we have our upper quartile, which is quartile 3, and that's 75%. And you'll understand this in just a few minutes. I'm just kind of giving you some vocabulary words to add to the top of your page here. And if you have a minimum, then you have to have a maximum. And your maximum is your biggest number and is worth 100%. Alright, so there are the key words for your box plot. Now we're going to open it up and we're going to learn how to create a box plot, okay? So let's open all these up like this. And we're going to start with the first thing that you always do first. You always find Q2 first, which is your median. So we're going to put first right here. Okay? And to do that, you're going to order your data from least to greatest. Okay? And then after you do that, you're going to find the median. Okay, and we're going to do this as we talk. So, here's our first example, okay? So we're going to order the data. I'm sorry, it looks like it might be a little blurry. Okay, so we're going to order our data. So we have 1, and I highly recommend marking it off as you do it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Lucky for you, these numbers are actually pretty easy. This won't always happen. Okay, so there, we ordered it, and now let's find the median. And if you've learned this from the last video, to find the median, we just move to the middle until we get our middle number. If we have 2, we add them. In this case, we don't. So we're going to put a little line right here, and we're going to label this Q2 because we just found our Q2. Okay, so the second thing we do, If you notice, the second thing is the lower quartile. So to find the lower quartile, which is Q1, you're going to find, I'm sorry guys, sorry about that. Okay, you're going to find the median of the low end. Okay, so we're going to find the median of the low end. And how to do that, we do not include the middle. We do the numbers on the low end. Okay, so our median is 3. We're going to put a line underneath that. And we're going to call this Q1. Okay, so third would most likely be the upper quartile. So to find the upper quartile, you have to find the median of the upper end. Okay, so we're going to find the median of the upper end. Again, we're not including our median, our original median. So start on 6 and 10. So our median is 8. So we're going to draw our line, and this is Q3. Now at this point, you have your Q1, Q2, and Q3, so you can actually make your box. Okay? And you remember, Q1 is worth 25%. Q2 is worth 50%. And Q3 is worth 75%. So we can go ahead and label that. Okay? So now we're going to go to our fourth thing. The fourth thing is our minimum. So we are going to find the smallest number. And we're going to represent that with a dot. Okay? So our smallest number is 1. We're going to put a little dot right here. And we're going to connect our line. Just like that. Okay? And then last, but of course not least, we're going to find our fifth thing, which is our biggest number, or largest, whatever you want to put. And we're going to also represent this with a dot. So that would be 10, and we're going to put a little dot, and we're going to connect. Now understand that this is 0%, and this is 100%. So they will ask you numerous questions about your box plot. Sometimes it'll be like, what's in between your Q1, Q2. Sometimes it'll be, what's your most, and you just need to know how to read the box plot. But now that you know how to create it, it should be pretty easy for you. A lot of times they'll ask you, well, what is your Q2? They'll ask you what's your median. They'll ask you what your range is. So if you remember, range is our highest number minus our lowest, so it's 10 minus 1, which is 9. Now, something new is called the IQR. So understand, your IQR is this right here, IQR. And this is your inner quartile range. And what that is Q3 minus Q1. So my Q3 minus my Q1. So Q3 is 8, Q1 is 3. So 8 minus 3 is 5. Oh, sorry. So now we have our range, we have our IQR. It would be easy to find our median, or what would 50% be, what would 75% be. And this is pretty much all it is. This is your box plot. This is your foldable. I will actually do one more example for you, and then you can move on to your practice. So let's take a look at this. Again, number one, we order our data. I'm going to kind of go a little faster this time, being that you've already seen one. So try to keep up, or you can pause the video if you need to. So we have 1, 2, 2, oh, 2 again, 3, 4, 2 5s, 6, 7, and 10. Okay, so we're going to find our median, which is 4. That's our Q2. We're going to find our median of our lower end, which is 2. And that's our Q1. And then our median of our upper end, which is 6, and that's our Q3. Okay, and then we're going to connect our box, and then we'll find our minimum, which is 1, because that's our smallest number, and our maximum, which is 10. That's our biggest number. Connect the dots, and now we have a box plot. Our range is 10 minus 1, which is 9. Our IQR is Q3 minus Q1, which is 4. And you can actually find your mode too. Your mode would be 2 in this case. In this one it would be 4. You can also find your mean. You can add these up and divide by how many there are. I hope this video helps you. Please do not lose this. It will be a great help to you and help you realize what you need to do, especially during practice and your check for understandings. If you have any more questions, please let us know. Get with your teacher. Otherwise, good luck.